The ability to precisely and accurately quantify levels of intelligence is an area that scientists have been improving on for over a century. As this ability has become more refined, scientists started noticing effects on the levels of average intelligence across the population. It was found that widely consumed media had one of the largest impacts. Most recently, TikTok held the spotlight and the blame, according to scientists, for a drop in Generation Z's level of intelligence to levels never before recorded. Today, we'll be investigating the who, what, where, when, why, and hows of intelligence levels across recent history in this first episode of my new series, Mythmatical, only on Wild Facts. It started around 2005. Scientists started noticing a trend of dropping test scores among students in the United States. A correlation was quickly noticed between the media that was widely consumed by the population and the lowering test scores. Scientists were quick to begin investigating, and so a survey was taken to generate a graph on the types of media and the quantity of that media that was consumed. After the analysis of this data, a single candidate seemed to stand out among the rest. Keeping Up with the Kardashians seemed to have a tight correlation with the stupidity of the people watching it. And although the loss of intellectual capacity seemed to be equal across the entire population, there did seem to be a difference between males and females and the reason for that loss of intellectual capacity, with the gradual loss of the ability to focus or pay attention occurring in males. Yet with females, it was an overall increase to the level of vulnerability to suggestion or gullibility. This provided scientists with a clue to finding the reason for the show's impact on increasing the probability of interacting with a moron on a day-to-day basis. And so it was conjectured that the property of the show responsible for these impacts on intelligence was something that males are physically attracted to and something that females are conceptually attracted to. Predictively, the study progressed slowly due to scientists losing track of time during their lunch breaks, with male scientists finding themselves at strip clubs without being able to recall why they went there in the first place, and females finding themselves at spas without being able to recall why they went there in the first place. This obstacle was overcome by implementing a process where female scientists would provide the male scientists with lap dances during their lunch break, and male scientists would provide the female scientists with an overwhelming number of compliments on their physical appearance during their lunch breaks. This increased productivity on the study by 69% and allowed scientists to quickly approach the conclusion to this mystery. But not too quickly, like at least 15 minutes quickly. And by mid-2009, 2 years after the airing of the first episode, scientists were able to determine that the culprit for all these changes was Kim Kardashian's ass. And they were even able to develop this mathematical equation to describe the effects. This equation draws on a relationship found during the study, showing that the mass of Kim Kardashian's ass is directly and oppositely proportional to the intelligence found in the individuals watching her show. In other words, a proportional change to Kim Kardashian's ass mass is exactly equal to the proportional change in the intelligence of the person watching her show in the opposite direction. So, for example, a 20% increase in Kim Kardashian's ass mass results in a 20% decrease in the intelligence of the individual watching. These results concerned scientists, to say the least, but those concerns would pale in comparison to those implied by the next discovery they would make because it was this discovery that would prove the conditions of an entire planet could. What scientists found was that the acceleration of Kim Kardashian's ass also had a proportional relationship to the intelligence of those watching. For the layman without experience in physics, this is just the mathematical description of a shaking or jiggling ass.
I feel the skin that holds to point me where the thick hoes at. He want a flat booty bitch, I'm not with all that.
The effect this had on the intelligence of the viewer was to take the change already experienced due to the change in Kim's ass mass and multiply it by the g-forces felt by Kim's ass during acceleration divided by the gravity of Earth. The reason this concerned investigators so much was because this new discovery implied that Kim Kardashian's ass had the potential to not only reduce an individual's IQ to 0, but to bring it into negative territory. This had the effect of causing a person to not only forget the information which they already knew, but to replace that knowledge with incorrect information. In fact, it was because of this study that scientists were able to discover the origin of Flat Earth Society, because before this study, excluding humor, it was unknown how such a movement could begin without entering negative IQ territory. Taking consequences that have already occurred due to televising Kim Kardashian's ass into consideration, scientists made projections for the future in order to predict the consequences that may occur based on future events of televising Kim Kardashian's ass. One of the projections was based on a particular popular action to which scientists thought Kim Kardashian might possibly do. The predicted effects of this action carried the potential of being more devastating than any world-ending event contemplated to date. This popular action was called twerking.
I feel the skin that holds to point me where the thick hoes at. He want a flat booty bitch, I'm not with all that.
These new discoveries drove scientists to create an entirely new category of cataclysm called ass extinction events. So, should a 21st season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians be approved, and you are part of the viewing audience, know now that you will forget that you knew that should she start twerking on television, you are too stupid to survive.